Well, finally, the SPLC is being held accountable for some of their very gross, illegal activity that they have been conducting, allegedly according to a grand jury indictment right now, as some people are now taking the theory of what's happening to the SPLC in correlation to what's happening to some of the biggest right-wing podcasters that were allegedly on the payroll. As a lot of people are highlighting, there's some suspicious activity here from some of these biggest names that have been accused of being very divisive. Is there something to see here? Well, a lot of people are saying so, and these individuals are countering back. What's the real truth here? Well, there's a lot to talk about, specifically when it comes to the SPLC and them financing and paying a lot of money to a lot of nefarious characters. Are they paying money to these people? We're going to look into that and investigate that in this particular video. And if you appreciate these type of conversations, subscribe. Click the notification button. We greatly appreciate all the time that you spend with us here. As of course, I think this topic deserves an honest conversation, as it definitely does seem like there's some kind of coordinated talking point being released right now. And we'll get into it. As of course, the Southern Poverty Law Center was just federally indicted on fraud charges, something that of course was brewing during the Biden administration. That was canned. That was stopped. What kind of correlation do they have here? We'll get into it in a little bit here. But Tim Pool kind of described what a lot of people are now seeing now about how conservatives announced their rally. Liberal groups pay a lot of extremists to show up, and then liberal groups get to say that conservatives are, quote, extremists. And listen, this has been a tactic that I remember holding and organizing rallies with family members, rescue workers, and then these like people came out that were trying to make us all look bad with all these bad. I'm like, get out of here! You don't represent us. And of course, this is a tactic that has been used during the COINTELPRO years by the CIA. SPLC connected to a lot of intel agencies, worked with YouTube and PayPal to censor a lot of voices, and they lied about us. They extrapolated and took my comments completely that were completely different. And they made it seem like I was calling for something when I never was. I always called for peace. I always pushed back against violence. I always made sure that the kind of more radical, divisive voices were kind of shut out here to have a real, legitimate, honest conversation to question those in power. And I think it's fair to extrapolate that those in power, as even written by Cass Sunstein, talked about how to excuse any kind of accountability by muddying the waters and making everyone look crazy and bad here. As now, Congressman Jim Jordan came out and fired a salvo against this left-wing group, as now prosecutors are alleging that the nonprofit used shell companies to pay informants who promoted a lot of really horrible stuff, including major kind of extremist organizations, as the House Judiciary GOP came out and said, SPLC, preserve your record. It's going to be interesting to find out exactly who was working for them, as of course this indictment does list who did, right? Who was being paid, especially when it came to this major kind of Charlottesville rally that I saw a mile away as being a major type of setup event. And I was like, and people were like, come. And I'm like, hell to the no. That's not going to happen here. Gavin McInnes also says he was pressured to come. Luckily, he didn't, As chairman, Jim Jordan is demanding documents and communications from the SPLC regarding their payments to sources from extremist groups and any coordination with the Biden-Harris administration. Overall, I think this is great. I think this is awesome. And this is highlighting how the left has always been looking for their boogeyman, and they can't really find it. And a lot of times they either false flag, they either promote, or now, as we're finding out through this grand jury indictment, pay boogeymen to be out there so they have an excuse to, of course, justify their existence here. As even CBS News released this segment highlighting this kind of awful type of situation that they were involved in.
To wonder if
Attorney Scott Frederickson questioned the Justice Department's legal theories.
Can the federal government persuade a jury that the Southern Poverty Law Center was out there funding extremism for its own purposes, manufacturing racism? That's hard to believe. Obviously, they'll have their day in court.
But there have been calls to investigate the Law Center for years. In 1995, the Montgomery Advertiser was the finalist for the Pulitzer Prize for articles alleging that the center was misleading donors and wasting their money. And more recently, critics say that its hate watch list of extremists includes many mainstream conservatives. Tony?
Yep, because that's how you muddy the waters. They're like, oh, look, here's Luke Rudowski. Here's really awful, horrible people. Look, we put them on a map together. And they overinflated our chapters. I explained that in a previous video. I did in the main video. William Cooper was even calling these guys out. This is like the OG kind of conspiracy theorist, former U.S. Naval Intelligence officer.
Joseph Goebbels would truly be proud of Chip Burlett, the Southern Poverty Law Center, which has never done anything whatsoever to help poor people with legal representation in the South or anywhere else, or with any other type of help.
This is 1996, by the way.
It is a sham, a scam, a con, through which they collect money to vilify Americans, to vilify the Constitution, to vilify patriotism, to vilify freedom, and bring about oppressive laws. The police state. The Anti-Defamation League engaged in the manipulation of Jews, spying for foreign governments, and outright treason. Not to mention the fact that they have been caught on many occasions promulgating the racist, anti-Semitic events which causes the Jews to empty their pockets into the coffers of the Anti-Defamation League.
Yeah, what better way to justify your existence by then financing and promoting your opposition? As of course, the SPLC had over what now looks like $1 billion offshore bank accounts. They had a Super Bowl commercial, for frick's sakes. As of course, this latest turn of events, is it correlated with some of the biggest podcasters out there? We'll get into that in a little bit. Before we do, just really quickly, we wanted to tell you about We Are Change.shop, specifically 2 supplements, magnesium glycinate and our ashwagandha. I saw this post from Letty, who says, cortisol is aging you faster than junk food, wrinkles, sleep loss, poor recovery, low libido. Here are 8 natural ways to reduce your cortisol and stay young. He recommends a bunch of kind of alternative therapies like saunas. I'm big on saunas. I'm not big on mouth taping. I'm not a big fan of that. He talks about low stimulation nighttime routine. Yep, that's a good one. And number 4, magnesium glycinate. As he describes how 80% of people are deficient, magnesium calms down your nervous system, reduces cortisol output, improves insulin sensitivity, enhances deep sleep, increases GABA. And that's what we have available here on wearechange.shop, our magnesium glycinate, right? And then he goes down. He talks about deep rest, deep sleep. He talks about sunlight. I like to get morning sunlight, right? And I think you got to get your skin adjusted to sunlight, not just kind of throw yourself out there. And then number 7, he says ashwagandha, quote, which we also have available here on our chill pill, available We Are Change.shop, saying ashwagandha, the most proven adaptogen on earth, lowers cortisol by up to 27.9%, reduces emotional eating, boosts testosterone in men. I know a lot of women that were helped with this when it came to regulating their hormones as well, and helped them out to deal with a lot of cortisol. I don't like cortisol. I had a lot of cortisol. I have a lot less cortisol. I sleep through the night now. My sleep score's through the roof. I think it's like 90, 95 today. I got to check. Regardless of that, wearechange.shop. Go check it out. Go support this independent media network. But again, this has been going on for quite a long time, and it's interesting to see this government actually go after it. And now I'm waiting for all the communications to be turned over. But this indictment did list a couple key individuals. A lot of people, one KKK guy getting like $1 million, right? A lot of the organizers of the Charlottesville, which was the major kind of galvanizing event that created this type of backlash by the leftist Democratic government to go after everyone in the right here. As now, a lot of people are saying, wait, what if, and again, this is a theory, this is not proven, as a lot of people are saying the SPLC wasn't just trying to start a civil war, which I believe they were a part of dividing and conquering and escalating a lot of radical voices, right? That's the major accusations in the grand jury indictment that was turned over, right, successfully. But now people are saying, no, these other podcasters are also a part of it, right? As people are saying, look, Sneeko and Nick, they haven't streamed since the news. This is a correlation. Is this coincidence? Again, it could be a coincidence, as of course the federal indictment did not list them. All right, as people are saying, the new talking points went out. Now, they did list a lot of other prominent individuals. They did list a key event here. I hope we get more documents. I'm excited to see exactly who's being financed, exactly what was going on here, because this kind of could unravel a whole bunch of stuff. Now, do I think these individuals are implicated here? Well, there's circumstantial kind of coincidental stuff, but there isn't any evidence. We do see a lot of this talking point being brought out theoretically without evidence. But people are saying Nick fled the country. Candace fled the country. I don't think they fled the country. I think they're doing trips. Ian Carroll's taking a long break. Ian Carroll usually does take long breaks. Jake Shields isn't posting. Jackson Hissel has clearly slowed down. What does that mean? Like, this is just extrapolation. Jake responded, quote, because I'm busy with other more important work than Twitter. Like, okay, I don't think a lot of this is correlated. Laura Loomer came out. Something tells me people are about to be investigated. TikTok. And again, the threats of investigations. I mean, that's what the Biden administration did. And they slandered and attacked people like Tim Pool unjustifiably. They dropped the charges later after, of course, slandering and attacking him. Look at these woke, right? And I'm like, okay, do you have any proof? Do you have any evidence? No. Tim Pool came out and said, okay, that would be a very weird coincidence, right? As Loomer talks about Candace Owens and Nick's are both in Italy. I don't think they're both in Italy. I don't think that has been confirmed here, right? Sources, who's the source, right? Because, like, there's a lot of times that people just say, sources, my sources. And a lot of times it's bunk, right? But she says, sources tell me Candace flew American Airlines from Charlotte, North Carolina, to Italy. It was apparent Fuentes was in Italy after photos of him in Italy surfaced online. Those two like to pretend that they hate each other, but now they are both in Italy at the same time. They have attacked each other. I think that the kind of comments that they attacked each other with were pretty serious, and I don't think it's orchestrated. But again, theoretical. Another person says, Candace, Fuentes, Carroll, Sneeko all decided not to stream the week. People are saying, is this an accident? It could be, right? People are saying, I'm doing pattern recognition. I'm doing noticing. Salty Cracker says, you're not allowed to ask questions about the I'm just asking questions team here. Now, Michael Caputo says, now that we know that the SPLC did in Charlottesville 2017, promoting and financing and helping people who are doing that, as he now says, I'm pretty sure the SPLC is behind Candace Owens. Now, again, a lot of these people are independently wealthy, right? I don't see these people going out there and taking checks from the SPLC. I think that's a little redundant here, as a lot of people are now showing this picture of the SPLC offices with their team members and Nick Fuentes presenting tiki torches to them. Now, again, the memes are pretty funny. I believe we should entertain all theories. I don't think anyone is outside of the window of being like criticized or talked about here. But I just need a little bit more here, right? For me, if this was the actual case of what actually was going on here, I think the federal government would mention it in their indictment. And they mentioned key individuals, key events. Why wouldn't they mention this one, right? Especially when Nick is coming out here and becoming one of the major forces against this administration, Nick being one of the guys telling people not to vote for Donald Trump, predicting the Iran war, predicting some of the failures here, and now literally saying, I can't wait for you guys to get impeached. We did that video yesterday on this channel. Go check it out. It's pretty interesting, right? And he definitely does seem like one of the biggest type of people that are speaking out against this administration. Why wouldn't this administration, if they had a slam dunk against them, use that or say that, especially if there were receipts, especially if there was actual wrongdoing connected with the SPLC? They didn't, right? So that, to me, just fails the first test here. Now, the fact that he left to a different country, that doesn't prove anything to me, right? That doesn't highlight any kind of proof. Alex Jones responded to Laura Loomer talking about this, saying, total bull crap alert. I was trying to get Nick on my show 2 weeks ago, and he said he could not come on until after the 26th of April because he was going on a family vacation. No evidence has been given or shown that Nick has ever gotten money from the SPLC. Same goes to Candace Owens. Loomer is just making stuff up as usual. And again, Alex also got in a big fight with Candace Owens, right? There's no love between the two, but I think Alex is absolutely right here, right? I think he absolutely is correct here. And again, lots of this is theoretical. As Laura says, a source came to me in the dream last night and told me Candy is traveling on an Egyptian plane to France to apologize to Brigitte Macron. There's also an ongoing lawsuit. Loomer also is now trying to figure out the trusts that Candace has with some of her properties to give to the French. As some people are saying, the lawsuit isn't going well between Candace and Emmanuel Macron, the former Rothschild's banker's wife, right? Laura says, Candace Owens had to abruptly cancel her show and travel abroad. She never alerted her audience of her travel plans. Interesting how she's fleeing the country the same day I reported that her J lawyer dropped her ahead of an important deadline in her lawsuit with Macron. Remember, I exposed her secret trust while she's hiding nearly $12 million in real estate, among other assets. Her other lawyer's firm specializes in bankruptcies. Is she moving her money abroad and hiding assets abroad? And again, it's all like, I'm just asking questions. It's all theoretical. Candace Owens responded to all of this, saying, have been traveling overseas all day, so sorry if I'm late to reacting, but this is a ridiculous trend that should be edited. I did not trade racial slurs with Laura Loomer, Trump's top advisor. She is manic and throwing racial slurs, and I've been laughing at her. Thank you for your attention to this matter. As of course, it was trending that they were trading racial slurs and personal attacks in a public feud. And again, a lot of this stuff is just like public drama. Nick responded to this by saying, a good heuristic is that if Laura Loomer is saying anything, it is a lie in service of BB's country. Right. Laura Loomer came out saying, notice, you don't deny anything I'm saying. If it's a lie, prove it. Why did you and Candace both fly to Italy? I thought you didn't like her. What's going on in Italy? How about you actually answer the question? And then no one has to answer anyone's questions here, as like it's pretty clear here. They got personally very serious with each other when it came to attacking themselves.
We could do this the easy way, or we could do this the fun way. We could do this the fun way. Candace, why are you playing so hard to get? Oh, Candace. Candace, you've been a naughty. Oh, you've been a bad girl. Candace. What are we gonna do with you? You just won't quit. You just won't let it go. I'm gonna have to come over there and wipe that smirk off your face.
Yeah, it got very personal. All right. To say the least here. Ian, who also is being attacked here, just came out and said, in light of David Wilcock's recent tragic death, I want to check in and say I'm safe and I'm okay. Taking a break from the internet for personal reasons. I'll talk about more soon. And again, Ian does that, right? Sometimes he takes a break. He's not always consistent, right? And it's not easy to be consistent. It's hard being in this media atmosphere and keeping your mental health, especially with all the crazy stuff that's going on here. I haven't taken a break in an extremely long time. I need one. As he says, Ian Carroll, mental health is fine. I'm not trying to self-harm. Love my family and life. I haven't received any threats and have no reason to be concerned for my safety. Just wanted to check in as a lot of my homies have reached out concerned. I'll be back soon. God bless all the patriots that are speaking up for truth in those crazy times. Love you all. See you soon. Yeah. Now, I'm going to do another video releasing it Saturday about what happened with David Wilcock. Tragic, horrible event here. All right. Now, again, am I buying this theory? I'm not. Right? People travel. People take breaks. People take family vacations. Right? Is it a coincidence? Well, that's too much. This is too much. I need evidence. And it does seem like people are just trying to kind of prosecute and punish these people through the process. As of course, we've seen the very same things with Tucker Carlson, Joe Kent leaker. He hasn't been held accountable or charged of any leaking. It looks like that was a slander attack. And of course, now you're going to try to correlate these guys with the SPLC. Now, listen, if any of these guys took money from the SPLC, the government should and will release that information and publicly address it, because I think it's important to understand here. Now, are these people always good and beneficial? Are they divisive sometimes? Yeah, they are. Now, is this a part of some kind of larger kind of scheme? If you're going to say that, prove it. And again, people have a lot of these kind of theories here. Overall, I think this is just kind of a larger slander attack, right? Because if the government had something, they would have used it, right? I think it's pretty clear. Why hide that? There's no reason to hide that, especially if it's an ongoing effort, right? So again, I'm not buying any of this. Now, do I hope we get more information about what was actually going on with the SPLC? Yes. Release all the records. Release it to the general public. as Elon Musk highlighted how they are all working together, retweeting Mark Anderson, saying various censorship debanking pressure groups, SPLC and others, ADL, coordinated their work. If one of them is breaking the law, are they all breaking the law together? Are there grounds for criminal conspiracy charges, RICO charges, including complicit donors? Yes. Charge all of it. As of course, they literally work with PayPal, YouTube. That's the bigger focus here. Let's not get divided on he said, she said, drama, and all this other hypothetical, theoretical stuff. It's not conducive. It's not helpful. Show us the proof. Show us the evidence. Release the documents and let the truth deal and rectify the situation as best as it can here. Truth is the ultimate sanitizer. I'm super excited for it coming out. And I'm happy there's at least some progress being made here by this administration and this FBI and this DOJ that are doing important things for that. Now, we are change.shop. Lower that cortisol. I love you guys. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys doing that. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/LukeRadowski76.